computer. All right, welcome to Helping Hands. I'd like to say this is more of a conversation and a then and now conversation about what has happened over 15 years on the University of Findlay's campus. We want to start off by saying this is not something that one person can do alone. So we are so happy to say that throughout 15 years, UF has partnered with Sodexo, our local dining service, to be able to put on this wonderful collection event. If you aren't familiar with it, we usually donate canned food to Chopin Hall, CHOPIN, HALL, if you're not familiar. And they are one of our local food banks here in Findlay, Ohio. They do a lot of work with us. They have been our partner for so many years, and they've actually been with us since the beginning of this event. So we're so thankful to Sodexo. We're so thankful to Chopin Hall for partnering with us, and they're really the ones that are on the front lines, helping people who are hungry and food insecure that really need the food. Another partner of why I'm involved is I'm the advisor of UF Habitat for Humanity. It's a position I've held for a long time, since 2004. And I'm so happy to be able to work with students who are passionate, service-oriented, and just really have a care and concern for others, not only their fellow students, but our community as well. And so I'm so proud of them. And we actually partnered with Sodexo that very first year, 2006, all the way until today. And even though it looks a little different in 2020, because everything in life looks different in 2020, we're so happy that we were able to do that. So that's myself. That's a little brief introduction of why we're here chatting today. And I think I'll turn it over to two amazing people who I'm so happy, and if you can't tell, I have this huge smile because I'm so happy to talk to them. So I think we'll let Larissa go first if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Larissa. I am the current president of the Habitat for Humanity Club, and I've been involved in the Helping Hands food drive since my freshman year, actually. It was just one of my friends who was in the club had said, like, hey, like, will you come help us? Like, we're kind of swamped. We really need some help sorting some of these, like, cans and goods and everything. Like, do you have some time that you can come help us out? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. You know, I'm not doing anything. And so that was how I got started the first year, and then I got more involved as years progressed. And then last year I was actually one of two students who was able to help work directly with Sodexo to help with the planning and organizing volunteers and everything, which was super cool. And then this year, since things, like Crystal mentioned, things are looking a little bit different, I've still been able to be involved, which is really super awesome. But I just think this is a super cool event, and I'm super happy to be a part of it. So I will pass it over to Stephen here.
Hello, yes, I'm Stephen Reichley. I'm a 2009 graduate of University of Findlay, where I got my bachelor's in pre-veterinary medicine and in biology. When I was at UF, I was involved obviously with Habitat for Humanity. I served as an officer for several years and president for one of those years. I was also on Res Life pre-vet club and involved with the Green Campus initiative. So after vet school, after Findlay, I went to vet school. Was originally interested in small animals, but got interested and involved in aquaculture. So after vet school, came down to Mississippi State, was on faculty down here for a couple of years, left and moved to Idaho and worked for the largest producer of rainbow trout in the country, Clear Springs Foods. And now I'm back here at Mississippi State College of Veterinary Medicine, where I serve as the assistant clinical professor in the Global Aquatic Food Security, the Center for Global Aquatic Food Security, and the Department of Pathobiology and Population Medicine. So I'm really excited to be here today. It's hard to believe it's been 15 years since we started this program, and it's just amazing to see how much it's grown, and really excited about what's going to happen in
Awesome. Thank you so much to both of you for joining me. And I think, I really appreciate what both of you said about how it kind of stirs up some good memories, and also how it's been such a longstanding tradition on our campus. I can't think, we have the arch ceremony, we have the freshman service day, but I'm really proud that this is still an ongoing tradition and that UF has committed to be doing this with Sodexo for so many years. So I think the next thing is if you just would share one of your favorite memories or a story of when you were interacting or volunteering with this service project, that would be great.
Yeah, so I kind of I jumped the gun a little bit and already kind of gave how I first got involved. But I think last year I was actually able, with my classes and everything, I was able to be with in the dining hall doing like the sorting of the food and working there and everything. And I was actually able to be there the entire, I think I was on campus for 15 hours that day, just sorting and making sure things were flowing. But it was a really great experience. And it was really awesome to be able to be able to help in that way. And I was really fortunate that I had all that time that I could offer. So that's definitely, I think, like it's been really great. And like I said, that's how I originally got involved, and then things have progressed to now.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's, I was involved with this kind of from the conception of the idea. Back when it started, it was branded as Cans Across America and it was a nationwide Sodexo effort, and Findlay was really enthusiastic to start it. And so, when you ask about fond memories, I would say, yeah, the starting from conceptualization and seeing this grow as it is. I mean, working with David Harr at Sodexo to kind of talk about it and kick around ideas of how it can be shaped at Findlay. And that first year, I think we collected, if I'm not mistaken, 994 pounds of food. And we, Sodexo came out with a ranking of the different colleges around the nation and where they ranked. And I remember Findlay, we were probably in the bottom half of that ranking. I just remember when that came out, how much excitement that and enthusiasm that gave everybody there of trying to improve that, right, and trying to get higher up on the ranking. And I think within 2 years later or so, we were number one nationwide, Findlay, the college, all of the campuses, and I think that's a title that we've held since then. So that's been something I think is a great memory, and in addition to being in the dining hall there and day of, and the many hours of collecting cans, and just seeing the overall enthusiasm that it brings to the college campus and the community.
Thank you guys for sharing. I do remember those beginning conversations with David P. and just this idea of we're sitting around the table in Hendo and we're like, oh my goodness, is this possible? What can work? And yeah, that campus pride, that spirit that we do care about our community. We want to win, obviously, these different national titles. And more importantly, we want to be able to continue to give food. And I think what's really cool is after this stopped being a Sodexo initiative, we kept going, right? And so I think that's so cool. It's like the Guinness Book of World Records, that part like didn't happen anymore for now. And David P was like, well, why wouldn't we keep going? Let's keep this going. Let's see what we can do and what we can do to partner and keep, the hunger hasn't stopped, so why would we stop? So I love that we just kind of kept it going beyond the original intent even of the program. So awesome. So I think the next thing is just from your perspective as either a current student or an alum, and what you know about Findlay, Ohio, why is this something important for UF and Sodexo to do and our local community as a whole?
Yeah, I think that Findlay's got a great, especially the campus, but the town as a whole, we have a great community atmosphere that is one of the reasons why I love Findlay. But I really, really love to see how, everyone comes together when anyone is in need. that it's super, super important to give back to our community any way that we can. And I was just, before this interview, I was just looking up on Hall, like some of their like stats of how many families they serve and everything. And they serve over 800 meals a day. That was their 2019 numbers, which I was really impressed by, that there are over 800 people in our community that that we can help provide a meal to, which I think is really important, that we should, that like we're able to help out any way that we can. And I'm really fortunate to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'd agree with Larissa, and I think anybody at Findlay, you know, we all recognize that close connection between UF and the city, and how much of a strong community that is, and how valuable that is, you know, to everybody. And I think it's important to recognize that, you know, there are many people from all walks of life that need that helping hand, right? And that's certainly something that's been that way in the past, will be that way in the future. And we all have experienced these challenges in 2020, and that's brought to light, probably, emphasized it more of some of the folks that need that help. And this is just really a great way to ensure that those in the UF community and the Findlay community and surrounding area, don't go without food, that have that they don't have to worry about that. I mean, that's a great stat, Larissa. So with the 800 meals a day, and you probably sometimes lose sight of the fact that there are 800 people in that community, and probably more, that need that help, and that's people maybe on campus and off campus as well. So I just think this is a really important event, especially in this time of uncertainty. The event like this, with neighbors helping one another, not only does it help make sure people don't go without food, but it also really serves as a beacon of hope for those that are donating, but also those that are receiving the food in the time of need.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't agree more. I think that some other things we've done with Hall, even this fall, we had a food pantry that was kind of a drive-through mobile food pantry because of pandemic and contact. And so we were still able to put groceries into people's cars, and UFO also hosted that in some of our parking lots this summer, even though a lot of our facilities were closed. So we're so happy that we can, even as simple as give a parking lot space to be able to have people gather in their cars and be able to get food, is really cool. And the fall one, we had, I think, 216 people, I think, come through, 216 families. And their average before that was 170 or 180. So even though we're kind of from pandemic in March till now, that was in October, there's still definitely a need. And to your point, Stephen, it's not a certain maybe type of person. I think that lots of people will feel impacted and have that need. So if we can help with some of those basic needs, why not lend a helping hand when we can? Okay, so just something more maybe about yourself. What have you learned, or how have your perspective maybe changed or shifted based on this event, and or maybe some of the other hunger awareness or food insecurity work or service work you guys have done?
I think Stephen and I have both, we've covered the aspect of the community, but I think it's events like these that really put into perspective for me, how willing, our community here is willing to come together. That year after year, I'm impressed about how the UF community is, that everyone's so able to and willing to come together to help out when they can. And I believe, Crystal, please correct me if I'm wrong, but we had over 115,000 pounds last year, correct?
I'll look and just let you know in just a second.
Okay, I thought I looked it up, but I mean, that's an incredible number. And I think anytime our community is in need, I'm always, time after time, incredibly impressed about how quickly UF students are so willing to come help whenever they can. So I think that especially this event, just really the amount of people, I mean, like we talked about how this year we aren't able to have as many student volunteers with COVID and everything, but in previous years and everything, I'm always so impressed about how many people are willing to come out and dedicate part of their day or even their whole day for this event. So I always get really inspired when I see so many other people coming together, and that kind of energy always really energizes me. So I just am just really, really impressed, and I really am very grateful for the community that we have here at Findlay.
Yeah, I think that I think you asked kind of what we learned, and when I think about this and reflect on, geez, it's been 15 years. That was a while ago, but I think getting to work with David Haar at Sodexo, President Freed at the time, Crystal Yu, the others across the UF campus and administration, faculty, staff, and engaging with the community and interacting with the folks at Chopin Hall. And for me at that point in my life of having that experience while in undergrad and really learning and having that awareness of the need in the community for food security and being able to address that. And it's not it's not just the people that you in the groups that you think about that might need it. There are a lot of folks that need the help, and the enthusiasm and the passion that was that I observed with UF, from administration all the way on down to all the student organizations, everybody that was involved. That was really something that was a learning opportunity for me and an awareness raising for me. I mean, that's something that what I do now in my current role is part of that is working with developing nations, Africa and Asia, and looking at food security. Well, we're looking at it from a fisheries and aquaculture standpoint, because that's my area of expertise. But it's that same underlying passion and awareness that I got while working with Helping Hands at Findlay that really helped cement that. And I think the other takeaway that I learned through that, if I could think back at it, is, UF really, that the community does not back away from challenges. They're resilient, and they tackle challenges head on, and they recognize that there's a need for food security in the community. And like you said before, Crystal, this started kind of as a Sodexo event, and then when Findlay just kept going with it, and it's been great to see that increase year over year. Like I said, from that 994 pounds that first year to over 115,000 pounds last year is a remarkable growth, and it's just amazing to see what the community's been able to do.
That's so true. And yes, Larissa, you were right. It was 115,867 last year. So in 2019, so over 115,000. And so, yes, to see the growth that has happened, but also the commitment, the longevity of it. I did want to point out, I did tally from 2006 to 2019, just because I was curious, like how many pounds, what has happened, and it's 720,000 pounds, 720,471 pounds. And so I just think, like, what a great impact, not only, of course, to be able to be a neighbor and to help the community, but what an impact on the basic needs of our local citizens. So yeah, I'm so happy to hear the lessons you guys learned. I'm a firm believer that every time we serve, we step outside our comfort zone, there's always things we can learn, not only about ourselves, but about others as well. And so I'm so thankful for the many, I call them multiple generations of Habitat students and campus ministry students. So many different student orgs and student groups have stepped up to the plate year after year, and every generation of them should be commended, because I think it's grown and grown, and it's become successful as a result of our student body and our administration as well. Okay, so last question is just, from your perspective, why should people consider giving? So we're recording this on Wednesday, November 11th. The actual day of collection is tomorrow, Thursday, November 12th. And we can get into some details at the end about how to give. But why do you think, from your perspective, people should participate?
Yeah, I just think that if you're able, that you should be willing to give whenever you can. I just think it's really important that like if we look at like we call this like the Helping Hands food drive, that I really think it's super important to lend whoever needs a helping hand that helping hand whenever they need it. That I just think it's super important that especially during like these times that we're in, that there's a lot of people who might be in a little more need. So I just think it's really, really important that while we have the resources, that we should be able to help those out and lend that helping hand.
Yeah, I echo everything that Larissa said there, and you know, I think that from one of the things that I learned through this experience when I was involved back in starting in 2006, like we talked about, some of those lessons learned is you know, there are folks out there, there is a need, and really you never know when you might find yourself in that situation and have a need. And so I think it's just really important for everyone to take a moment, realize with all of the craziness, all of the uncertainty that's going on in the world today, how fortunate some of us are, and how less fortunate others are, and that's, we need to be aware of that. You know, I know sometimes as a student, it's you're living on a tight budget, or you know, you're busy going to class, but realize that just the idea that you're in college puts you as much more fortunate than many others. And so, you know, being able to donate some money or some canned goods is important. You know, from an alumni standpoint, obviously this Helping Hands is a cause close to my heart and something that I've been involved with. And so being able to give back to it over the years has been great. I know you'll probably touch on it, Crystal, at the end here, but you know, the ability now for us to go on to the website and donate directly is fantastic. And I think it's, you know, from a student standpoint and alum standpoint, we all benefited, whether we currently are or in the past, benefited from the Findlay community. And I think if we're in a position to be able to help that community, we should. And I think this is really a great way to do that, and to do that safely. So just really, really excited about the progress that's happening, and you know, of all years, this is a year where we could really help provide that helping hand to our neighbors.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think that, you know, it's very important to point out that I appreciate what you said. Sometimes we are able to help, and sometimes we might also need the help. And so this idea of give and take, and being able to support people, but also humble enough to sometimes admit we need help, is really important. And so I just wanted to put a plug that if current students or alumni are watching and they also might know of someone who is in need, we do have a community resource guide as well now, because we do know that obviously hunger and different financial issues can affect everybody, including ourselves. So we do have community resource guide available to be able to empower students and give them the support that they need if they need to reach out, and also, of course, to be able to give when they can give as well. So for tomorrow, we will have people at all the registers around campus, at all the Sodexo locations. And if you're a student, you can swipe for your meal plan, but of course you can also donate directly through Derek Dollars and Bonus Bucks. And I'm pretty sure at least some of those expire before the end of the semester, which is coming up quickly. So we really hope that you will consider maybe giving some of those dollars, even if you can't, you know, swipe your personal credit card or something like that. And then, as Stephen said, we do have a website up and running. So if you just go to findlay.edu and then in the keyword, you can search Helping Hands. You'll get to a website that has a little green button that says you can donate now. And so we're so happy and thankful for the UF Business Office's partnership to be able to make that as easy as possible for people to donate. And, you know, speaking to the alums out there, I guess I would just offer a challenge that if you volunteered through the past 15 years and you can, please try to at least log on and give a little bit. I know I'm talking to recent alums, right? 15 years and less. And I know you're being established with new jobs, maybe new families. But you know, I appreciate what Stephen said about we were in Findlay at one time and Findlay helped us. So I'm just saying, if you volunteered in the past and you can, please try to give a little bit. So, and the little bits definitely add up together to a big sum. So I think that what we'll do is we'll say goodbye for now, and we hope that you will join us in watching University of Findlay's social media tomorrow on multiple different channels. I think they'll give updates maybe throughout the day, and then since it's a Thursday, that Friday we're planning on doing maybe like a Facebook Live or at least a video reveal to see what we're able to collect this year. We really don't have any grand goals or expectations because we have no idea what will happen. This is the first year we're doing it mostly financial, but we are happy to be able to still give however we can. And we're so thankful that we didn't have to cancel, right? That we can still fulfill our commitment to our community, just like they help us all the time as well. So I want to thank Stephen and thank Larissa. I guess, you know, if the audience can't tell, they're superstars, right? And they're leaders now and leaders in the future. And whether they're impacting right now, I know Larissa's a social work major and she's impacting Findlay community. And at Stephen, oh my goodness, what a great story of how you're able to help within your field, not only people like your students in Mississippi, but also people around the world. I think that's incredible. And I commend you both. It's just such a proud moment for me to be able to chat with you and see how you've grown. And I might also continue to watch you on social media just to catch up and to see what's happening. Because again, I'm just so proud of you and also a lot of the alumni that have come through these walls of UF in the past. So thank you again. I hope you have a great afternoon and we will talk to you soon.